I'm Tony Ruiz, contributing editor at Gold Derby, here with William Stanford Davis, who plays Mr. Johnson on Abbott Elementary. And Stan, this role has grown into just this kind of scene-stealing gift for you. And I'm curious if you are having as much fun as it looks like you're having.
I'm having more fun than it looks like I'm having. I'm having a ball, man. It's a great cast that I'm working with. The writers, sometimes it might just be one line or two lines, but they write something that that I can have a lot of fun with. And the crew, man, it's just I'm still pinching myself. I'm still pinching myself.
So what I remember, I going all the way back to the pilot, you're kind of in the background of every part of the pilot. So I feel like you got like a front row seat to what this show was going to become.
Right. But I never knew it was going to become this. When I've been in this a long time, and I've done a lot of pilots that don't ever see the light of day. But there was something about it that I thought, okay, this seems pretty special. And then in the pilot also, a lot of stuff that I did made the cutting room floor. So you didn't get to see a lot of things, but they kept the most important. I love that, But I got a chance to see, we kept saying, man, this looks like it's going to be a hit. But we didn't know it was going to be the phenomenon that it's become.
So, your character, Mr. Johnson is just such a gem of a character. And I would imagine that you look at a script and you see like some of these just asides that he almost throws in, like he just wanders in and these, bits just come in. I would think that the timing is really crucial to that. How right. Crucial is the timing, and how have you worked on that over the course of these 2 seasons?
I'm still trying to, I guess you would call it season it, and make it better. We have a fantastic executive producer and who's directed 90% of our episodes, Randall Einhorn. And he trims all the fat off of it so that it just boom, 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 it hits. And now that we, in the second season, I think we've all found our legs in terms of the rhythm and how the show moves. And we just try to, hit a home run whenever we can, at least get a base hit or a triple, but sometimes it's a grand slam,
Well, what have been some of those grand? I mean, you were promoted to a season regular in season 2, and I'm curious, what were some of those grand slams for you in season 2?
Wow, in season 2, there were so many. Oh wow, the Halloween episode I think was probably one of my favorites to work on. Then there were so many, but the Halloween episode, and the reason I say that too is because it affected so many people. I started getting posts of people with their kids dressed up like Mr. Johnson, like taking them to Halloween parties. Or father and his baby, they're both, down to the name tags and everything. They would put goatees on the children, and they would dress like Mr. Johnson. And that was a real, I got a little emotional when I saw that, and it was a real tribute, not only to me, but to the writers and to the show itself.
One of my favorite things is that over the course of these 2 seasons, what we know about Mr. Johnson has evolved. Like, I love that we don't know his first name.
Yes, I get that question all the time.
It actually reminds me of something Peter Falk said about Columbo. Like, what is Columbo's actual first name? And he just says Lieutenant. Like, what is Mr. Johnson's first name? Mr.
Yes, Mr. I tell people that all the time. They're like, come on.
But we get these little tidbits. Like, for example, I loved discovering that he was the one teaching that online class. And when you read that in the script, did that just go, whoa?
Yes. And then, when they showed the ad with me with the big afro and all of that, I was like, this is, that's again one of those moments that I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. And then when you see that Cheryl comes on and sees that I'm teaching the class and she slams it just all comes together, man. It's just, once again, timing, great writing. And I keep stressing the great writing because of the strike. Because we need great writers, and this show wouldn't be what it is without the great writing.
Amen to that. Just curious, Is he an actual like PhD? Do you think he actually has his doctorate?
I'm gonna keep that a secret, but I think, man, Mr. Johnson is not a he's not a one-dimensional character by any means. He's, based even on the script, he's been all over the world. He's worked several different types of jobs. So he could have a PhD. I think we'll know that by the time the series ends. But I hope that's a long time down the road, though. But yeah, if I had my say so about it, yeah, I'd have a PhD. I probably have two, one in history, one in English.
Well, but one of the things that I think makes the character so interesting is those layers and the fact that he is constantly catching the teachers off guard.
Right.
Why does he like to keep them on their toes so much?
Because it is a school, and they, I think, well, this is my choice as an actor. I'm smarter than everyone there. I've been there a long time. I know the ins and outs of the school. The only one that I have any type of who intimidates me is Barbara Howard. The rest of them, I'm having a ball with. I give her her due. I bow, and Cheryl and I are good friends anyway. But the rest of the teachers, I've been there longer than they've been there. I know more than they know. I've been around the world probably 4 or 5 times, and I like giving them a little bit of a keep them on their toes, keep them on their toes. I'm watching you at all times.
I loved the thing with the cat with you and Chris.
That was another favorite of mine too. Yeah, I love that.
What is it like to be just a part of this ensemble? Because this is, in the very truest sense of the word, this really is an ensemble show.
It's a stellar cast, man. Everyone is such a professional. Everyone, they come so ready to work and prepared, and it makes you better come with your A game. Everybody's coming with their A game, and it just makes me a better actor. I love them all. It's the best. I shouldn't say the best. Yeah, I will say the best. I worked in a lot of shows, had a lot of recurs, and this is the most generous group of actors I've ever worked with. And I work with some pretty generous actors. Everyone here, I mean, generous as actors, giving you something to work with, always looking for something to make it better, and always trying to help you make it better. We help each other, but they really give you a lot. They really serve you a lot, to make a feast out of.
Well, and the show, Quinta has such a clear vision for what this show is. And one of the things I love that I think also works so well about this show is that it's multicultural in a way that is rooted in character, and not the statement is in the characters themselves.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it wasn't the typical inner city school that I was familiar with, but it is today's school. I mean, you got everyone, you got all types of teachers, all types of personal situations that they have to deal with, which are situations that everyone has to deal with, mothers, family, loss, gain, everything, so they put their all into it. We love, when we miss a day or when we're away from one another, we get kind of jittery. We like working with one another. We like being around each other. I saw them all last night at an FYC event for Disney, and it was just like, oh wow, I'm home. So working with them has just really been a blessing. And I know that word is overused, but this has really been a blessing.
Well, anybody who knows anything about schools, and I do a little bit, knows that there are a few people that teachers need to have on their side, and that is, the principal secretary and the head custodian.
Yes, those two, they know everything about the school, everything about all the kids, all the parents, they know it. And when I was in school, there was a guy named Mr. Glover. Mr. Glover was the custodian at the school, the first grade school I went to, and he was a really nice man. I think he used his own truck to bring in supplies and things. He would play football with us on the playground, and he would ask questions. How you doing today? Did you do your homework? He would just really try to instill some things in us that stuck with me anyway. I don't know if it stuck with the other guys, But I mentioned him at home. Mr. Glover said hi today. He was really nice. So I try to take a little bit of that, but still, I call it putting in my putting my grandmother. My grandmother had no filter, and she was a tough lady, and I loved her so much. And I try to take some of what I get from her and add to the character also.
Well, I think one thing that a lot of people may not know about you is that you studied extensively at the Actors Studio,
Yes.
and I've seen in interviews that you've mentioned Mark Rydell and Martin Landau. What were some of the big lessons that you took from your training and your work at the Actors Studio?
Sometimes you get little things that change your work in a tremendous way. And one of the things that Martin Landau, he would say, just remember, every experience you have in life is filtered through your five senses. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it helped me. Oh my God, everything, every little thing, this, what I'm doing right now, everything is filtered through our five senses, every reaction. And that helped my work, tremendously. Mark, on the other hand, Mark would not give me any breaks. He would sweat me on the floor, man, and I loved him for that because he pushed me. He pushed me. He said, "So you're on stage and you want to be liked, huh? You want people to like you, huh? And no, I just want to be the best actor that I can be. That's why I'm here." And he would push me, and that was love. The other thing is that you see people whose work that you watch, that you've seen for years, and they're just your peers. And it's a place that you can get, how do I say it? I don't want to say any bad words, but it's a place that you can fall on your ass. It's a place where you can make mistakes and try new things. And it's not a scene study class by any means. It's where you go to work on your craft and really challenge yourself and challenge your scene partners to go to another level. And it's helped my acting, and it's helped me in a personal way tremendously.
I always am really fascinated with the concept of, the old cliche of dying is easy, comedy is hard.
Yes.
Do you find that to be true?
Yes, I did stand up for quite a while. I did it for almost 15 years on the road, and man, when it's good, they a guy named Jamie DiGiorgio used to write for Arsenio Hall. He was there one night when I was doing a set, and it just killed. And he leaned over and whispered in my ear. He said, "It's better than sex in it, Stan." I said, "Yeah, it is." But man, when you bomb, you want to jump off of a building. It's really tough because these thoughts that you were creating, these thoughts that have been created in your head, you're feeding them to people, and when they laugh, oh my God, oh wow, they're laughing at something that you created. And then when it doesn't go well, when it doesn't work, you can be pretty suicidal sometimes.
Well, and you've talked about the fact that you kind of started in acting, at least, a little bit later.
Yes.
And do you find that having this success right now, is it sweeter now?
It is. I don't know. Actors want it to happen overnight. And my big lesson that I try to teach people when I coach or when I used to teach a class is just don't quit. Work on your craft. Don't worry about getting a job. Worry about making a fan out of the people that you go in the room, as we say, the room, to see. And that's what I've always tried to do. I just try to go in, do the best work I can, and leave it there. That's a hard muscle to develop, but it took a while to develop that. I don't know if I'd have made. I got here in my 30s. People kept saying, "Well, you're already here kind of late." They're looking for teenagers and teeny boppers, and I just didn't pay that any attention. I just stayed in class, worked on my craft. I got a little job here. I might not work for another 6 months, but I stayed in my craft. I had a little side job so I could pay the rent or make the car payments or whatever it was I needed to do. But I just continued to work on my craft. And like Cheryl said in her acceptance speech, it may not happen in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s, but if you don't quit and you work on your craft, it will happen. And I truly believe that.
I love to ask people this question because I always get such interesting answers. What are your feelings about the phrase character actor?
there's no shame in it. I just think an actor is an actor. I think that all actors are character actors. You're just a different character in different situations. I think we all have, we're all human beings having the human experience. And I think that if you can bring that to the stage or to the set or on film or television, you've done your job as a character. You know what I mean? A character actor is every actor I've ever seen. Denzel Washington's a character actor. He's just a different character in each film. He I mean, he's a highly character actor, and I don't have any gripe with him about that. But every actor, I don't know who. And I heard the word bit actor. He's just a bit actor. What does that mean? An actor is an actor. We're bringing something. We're bringing it's all make believe, and we're bringing it to real life. And if you're enjoying it, we've done our job.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, I know that, things are kind of on hold because of the writer's strike, but I'm curious if you have any kind of desire to see, this season we saw Quinta's mom come in, Taraji playing her mom. We've seen, Gregory's dad. Do you see a scenario in which we would have a relative of Mr. Johnson's?
I hope so. I hope a more personal relative of Mr. Johnson's. We've talked. That's been touched on quite a bit. I'm sure that as we go along, the writers are so good, man, and I know that they want to just give us a little bit at a time. So from what I've heard Quinta say, that this season we'll get more into Mr. Johnson's personal life, and I hope that includes relatives and maybe a love interest. Who knows?
Oh God, if there's been a Mrs. Johnson this whole time, I'm so curious.
He's so meek around her. She runs things in the house, and he says, "Okay, dear, okay, honey," He's a whole different person at home. I don't know, don't quote me on any of that, but I'm hoping that, and I've heard Quinta in other interviews say that they're going to expand more on his character and more on his personal life.
Well, I can't wait. Stan, thank you so much. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys, and stay tuned for interviews with more contenders throughout Emmy season. William Stanford Davis, a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for having my pleasure.